Malaysia juga menghadapi cabaran yang agak getir. Kadar pengangguran di Malaysia adalah di paras 3.9%.
So, isu yang tak settle-settle di Malaysia lagi adalah pengangguran.
Pengangguran meningkat kepada 5.0% pada bulan April 2020.
Mustahil ke kalau kita nak lahirkan usahawan sebenar melalui pendidikan tinggi?
Kalau kita tengok artikel tentang situasi di Malaysia, ada 200,000 graduan yang tak ada kerja.
Disebabkan teknologi yang berubah, perubahan ekonomi, perubahan pemikiran generasi baru, education yang dulu tu mungkin tidak lagi bersesuaian.
Dan mengikut anjuran Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia pada 14 Mei 2020, kadar pengangguran dijangka akan meningkat.
A marriage, perkahwinan antara traditional learning and kemahiran. Welcome to the revolution.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Zeti. Hey, Sufi. Hey, Farah. Great to see you all again. Wow, Friday again. So, I don't like Fridays. What about y'all? I mean, the reason why I don't like Fridays is not because of anything else. It's because it's the end of the week. And generally, I will be based at home on Fridays. And that's what I don't like about it, because I don't go out and see people. Right, so let's continue with our topic on presentation. Today is going to be the last area in terms of presentation for me to share. Next week, we're going to start with marketing. Remember, if you all have anything that you all really want, please hit it up to the like button or comment. And if there's any topic that you think that I can be of help, then please go and put down in the comments. Then I will actually start developing or share with you what I've actually done previously on this. Right, so presentation. You see, in every single presentation, we always have this need to talk about pricing. All right, when you talk about pricing, is it pricing to the client? It could be a pricing in terms of, let's say, if you're asking for an investor, they also have a price. Now, the thing is, when it comes to pricing, number one, you need to know, in order for a presentation to be effective, hey, Safwan, you like Friday. Yeah, most people like Fridays, but the only drawback about Fridays, I think, is the traffic. Somehow, I'm not sure why Friday traffic is always worse, but it's bad. But it's the start of a weekend. Weekend is always good. It's a great time to spend time with the family. It's always need. To me, family is very important. Whenever I do leadership, maybe one of these days I will talk about leaderships. One of the things about leadership I will say is look at a leader. If the leader knows how to take care of the family, this is a leader you want to follow. Because if they don't know how to take care of their own family, don't expect your leader to take care of you. That's what I always believe. Right, so let's go back about pricing. And in every single presentation is what we call by the WIIFM, the world most famous FM channel. What's in it for me channel. So I always find that newbies who are doing presentation always fall on this part. I mean, they somehow feel that they cannot present it. So they will come in and they will talk about the whys and what's the product about, and then how is it going to help. But when it comes to pricing, because you can't enter into a contract unless you have a proper pricing. Now, most of the time, most people have a limiting belief. They always think that their product is too expensive. Correct? No, I'm serious. I've done so many sales. I've worked with different companies. I've actually sold different products. And most of the thing is, imagine this, in year 2009, I was selling mini scooters. You know what's these scooters? This aluminum thing that these kids will put one leg on the board and it's like a skateboard. And in year 2000, sorry, not 2009, 1999, sorry, I got my year wrong, all right? That was when mini scooters came about, and I was selling each scooter for 400 ringgit. And one of the things that my colleagues were saying that, who's gonna buy? You know, it's 400 ringgit for this. It's not even aluminum, it's stainless steel. All right, yeah, someone, yeah, you can see your family. Well, let's put it this way, family. That's why I love team building as well, because your colleagues are your family as well. Sorry. Yeah, so coming back to the story. So most of my colleagues are saying, hey, you know, who's going to buy this? You know, it's 400 ringgit. It cannot be sold. I said, okay, believe whatever you want to believe. But I was very young that time. I was about, I won't tell you my age, but it was 20 years ago. So I was standing there, and to me is, never mind, I'll just let me sell 400 ringgit, 400 ringgit. And it turned out to be the person who was complaining about the price, saying things are too expensive, is the one that could not sell a single scooter. Ultimately, after 2 weeks, the boss asked him to leave. Now, think about it again. If you have a limiting belief as to your product, in terms of the pricing, you'll never be able to sell. Let's face it. Because ultimately, a price is a value that a person places on an item. Am I right to say that? So if you think that if you have a product now and you want to price it, how would you want to price it? See, most people, whenever I talk about pricing, people think it's too expensive. Never anyone will say it's too cheap. Correct? Have you, come to think of it, have you ever look at something and people come up to you and say, oh, that's very cheap? Do you ever say that? Answer is no. You will always say it's too expensive. But no matter how expensive the item is, do you buy? That's the truth, right? You will buy, because ultimately, price is a container of value. Hey, morning, Fatin. Yeah, so the thing here is this. If I were to put in front of you an item, let's say iPhone, right? If I'm going to say the iPhone right now, I'm going to sell it to this whole iPhone is an iPhone X. I'll sell it to you for 300 ringgit. What would come to your mind? You will say, is this for real? Is this iPhone real? Is it fake? Is it sport? Right? But if I'm going to say I will sell you my iPhone X for 3,000 ringgit, you said, okay, yes, doctor, I'll think about it. Hey, I'm Izar, morning. Yeah, so what we are saying here is this. If you're going to price yourself too low, people don't have a value for you. You price yourself too high, which is a good positioning as well. To share with you how I became more famous in terms of the speaking industry. When I first started off, I used to tell people, pay me whatever you want to pay me. I don't set a price. But interestingly enough, because I used to say that statement, pay me whatever you think that I'm worth, my payments have gone into, like, for a half an hour talk, people will pay me 5 digits. I'm not including decimal points. I'm not telling you how much I'm earning, but people will pay me 5 digits without decimal points. That means after 5 digits, only .00, right? For a half an hour talk. So if you guys are watching here, basically you're benefiting part of it, right? So what we are saying is this. The more you actually make yourself more expensive, it's a continuum, I would say. The more expensive you are, the lesser people would be able to reach out to you. But yet at the same time, the question here is, when we talk about marketing next week, is, do you want to serve the elite or do you want to serve the mass market? So your pricing will be based on what you want and how do you want to position your market. Because my wife asked me this question as well, how much her art, she's an artist, so she asked me, how much do you think I should price my art? I said, how much do you think it's worth? Or how much do you think the collector thinks it's worth? That's when you price it. Because if you price your art at a very high price, then everyone wants it. But it doesn't mean they can afford it. It's just like me as a speaker. When I price myself high, not everyone can actually afford it. But yet at the same time, because I price myself higher, more people find it more beneficial if they can sit through my program. Correct? So that's why it's when I first started this Facebook Live, I was actually in a what I call by a yo-yo, emotional yo-yo, where I say that, do I want to do this or do I don't want to do this? Because ultimately, if you can watch me free online, then it's like, hey, why would I want to engage Adrian to come in to talk to me when he can talk to me live every single day, right? Right? Yeah. So what we are saying is that whenever it comes to price in presentations, do not focus too much on it. Let's put it this way. Whenever you mention price, you expect to go into this negotiation positioning. That means when you mention it, you expect the person to rebut. And always remember this. You have to be very, very firm on your price. You need to know an entry price and an exit price. And hopefully this is not too far apart. What I mean here is, this is not haggling at Petaling Street, Chinatown. Do you know in Chinatown, you can start a t-shirt or a watch can start at 100 ringgit, but the guy will sell it at 20 ringgit. That's a huge difference, right? So the thing here is, we can always have price. Normally, I'll never ever negotiate in pricing. I will say, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot negotiate price with you because we have our stand. The only thing is I can add on more value for you. For example, I can do follow-ups. I can do other services. For example, coaching, add on to it. But I'll never ever haggle in terms of price. Why? Because the moment you actually put in your price sticks forever. See, a lot of people who got it wrong in marketing say, oh, for entry price, we start low first, then next time we up lah. Now, let's put it this way. The moment when you actually put your price low, it can never go up. I give you for a very, very simple example in due respect to our national car, Proton. When I say Proton, what comes to your mind? When I say Perodua, what comes to your mind? When I say Mercedes, what comes to your mind? When I say BMW, what comes to your mind? You see, these people basically never, these brands, they have already entered the market with a certain price range, and automatically as consumers we already say, okay, Mercedes equals expensive, BMW expensive, Volvo more or less very expensive too. All right, then we come into Proton, cheap car. All right, then I say, okay, when you say cheap car, does it mean quality good or bad? No lah, you pay for that price, how much can you get? So if you're gonna think about it in that way, then you will know how to position your product. Because if you are going to position yourself at a low market, yes, depends if you are like Perodua, which is a good strategy because you come in on mid-range, everyone can afford, it's good quality, everyone buys it. It becomes one of the best national cars. So it will all depends on where you want to go in the long term. If you want to go long term, you want to go in terms of the high-end market, then never ever start at a low range. And you cannot be too shy as to your product, because ultimately, remember, in every single presentation, the worst thing that can ever happen is nothing happens. What I mean by worst thing that can ever happen that nothing happens is that when you go in, you present, and the person don't buy. That's when nothing happens. But let's say if you go in and you are so worried about your price and you present every single thing, does it really match your time towards the amount? So think about this again over the weekend as well. Really, if you're going to market a product right now, how much price, what's the price that you want to put in? Do you want to be desperate or you want to be playing elite? Because if you are playing elite, then you can build your brand further. Because ultimately, if it's an elite brand or pricing, then when you go up, people would always think it's fine. But if you are starting low and you price up a little bit, people think that's not worth it. So something you want to think about. It's all about positioning. On Monday, we'll talk about marketing and how to market and brand our product a little bit more. All right, so till Mondays, have a great weekend, guys, and I will see you again, same time, same place. All right, all the best to you. Goodbye.
Malaysia juga menghadapi cabaran yang agak getir. Kadar pengangguran di Malaysia adalah di paras 3.9%.
So, isu yang tak settle-settle di Malaysia lagi adalah pengangguran.
Pengangguran meningkat kepada 5.0% pada bulan April 2020.
Mustahil ke kalau kita nak lahirkan usahawan sebenar melalui pendidikan tinggi?
Kalau kita tengok artikel tentang situasi di Malaysia, ada 200,000 graduan yang tak ada kerja.
Disebabkan teknologi yang berubah, perubahan ekonomi, perubahan pemikiran generasi baru, education yang dulu tu mungkin tidak lagi bersesuaian.
Dan mengikut anjuran Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia pada 14 Mei 2020, kadar pengangguran dijangka akan meningkat.
Marriage perkahwinan antara traditional learning and kemahiran. Welcome to the revolution.